Ask the Therapist about romantic partner struggles. I'm going to be answering your questions about dating, marriage, and a bunch of other stuff, Mended Light. Okay, diving right in. How to help your partner through a pattern of insecurities leading to lying. I've tried showing my partner that I love and support him, but sometimes he just tends to go back to the same pattern. And then it makes little lies feel just as disappointing. Some people lie because they're manipulative and conniving and want to take advantage of others and want to get theirs and don't care if they hurt others. And I think that's sometimes how we treat all liars. But you've already got a really good handle on this because you show a lot of love to your partner. Because he lies, it sounds like, for a different reason. He lies because he doesn't want to disappoint you. I mean, maybe I'm reading in between the lines too much, but he lies because he's scared of judgment, scared of rejection, scared of disappointing others, or because he carries a lot of shame himself. So how can you help? Well, first of all, it's not your problem to fix. You can support, you can influence, and I will give you keys for that in just a moment. But this is definitely a him thing, and he's got to work through it. What I would recommend to encourage him to do that is a 1-2 punch of strong boundaries, and part of that is expressing how his lies hurt and how you would much rather hear the truth even if it's unpleasant, with unconditional love. He needs to know that it's safe to tell the truth even when it's embarrassing. He needs to know that if he's ashamed of something, instead of burying it, he can bring it to you, and instead of being berated or judged for whatever he has to say, that you can say, you know, it hurts, what you told me hurts. Or I'm sad about what you told me. Or yeah, that's frustrating. But you know what? Despite all of that, it really matters to me, and I appreciate that you had the courage to tell me and feel safe to tell me. Because what that tells me is I can trust you to be honest with me, and really reinforce anytime he tells the truth that that is exactly the right thing to do. Now, he may be afraid that you'll be sad, or that you'll be angry or frustrated or annoyed or disappointed in whatever he has to tell you. And I would make him face the truth that, yeah, I reserve the right to have an emotional response. I reserve the right to be sad or angry or disappointed by whatever you have to tell me. But I will always, always, always be grateful that you told the truth, because that's how we build trust. And then when it comes to boundaries, just reiterate when he is dishonest, hey, I understand that this is a lifelong pattern of behavior that you're trying to beat. It hurt me that you lied to me. I would much rather have had the truth, even if it's unpleasant. And my biggest one is I love giving people this, because a lot of times people lie reflexively, and then they're like, oh crap, I really would have preferred to tell the truth, but I just lied as a reflex, but now I can't admit that I lied. I can't come forward because that's just, that's so, and they build it up in their heads. Give him permission and encourage him to say, hey, I get that this is a lifelong habit that you're trying to break. I am anticipating that you will lie reflexively as you're trying to break this habit. What I need from you is for you to come back and say, hey, that was a lie. I was scared and I lied, but here's the truth. Instead of digging yourself in deeper and feeling like you can't because you already told the lie. That's what I need from you. So these are the types of conversations to have with him. What to do when your partner refuses individual therapy to work on their issues. These issues negatively affect our communication and relationship. It's a combination of being understanding and compassionate for whatever block they've got. A lot of people don't want to go to therapy because they're afraid of being judged, because they don't want to speak their quote-unquote shameful truths out loud, because they're afraid of being told that they're wrong and they're the problem. There's a whole host of reasons why people are scared to get individual help. It comes back to, listen, babe, if the therapist makes you feel judged, then that's crap therapy, and we'll find you another therapist. Because what you need is someone who is, first of all, they're bound by ethical law to keep your confidence and to not share anything you tell them. But second of all, someone who's going to treat you without judgment, who's going to be understanding, and who's going to hold a mirror up and help you make different choices and create new patterns. And the fact is, right now, it's not happening. The new patterns aren't emerging. You don't want to go to therapy, but nothing's changing, and it's hurting us. I want to trust you. I want to feel close to you. I want to be in love with you, and I want you to be my safe place. And the fact is, without therapy, it's not happening because it hasn't happened yet. So again, it's a combination of being compassionate for whatever the hang-up is and saying, I understand, and empathizing, with holding an expectation, holding a boundary, and saying, in order for us to go forward, in order for us to stay together, you can avoid therapy. I'm not giving you an ultimatum. You don't have to go. I am letting you know that if these patterns don't change, there may not be an us. And I don't say that to scare you. I say that because I want there to be an us. And I will be so proud of you. If you make this choice, if you take this step, I will feel safe, respected, and loved knowing that you took this step so that you can make these changes and experience this growth. That's what that would mean to me. Phrase it in a way that it's, I want you to be the hero of my story, and here's how you can do it. How to figure out if we want kids or not as a single person and as a couple. Yeah, this one I'm going to have to refer to research and clinical experience more than personal experience, because I always wanted kids. Ever since I was a kid, I saw my parents, I saw our family, and I wanted that. But for a lot of people, it comes down to, does the thought of bringing life into this world feel like something joyous and fulfilling? Or does it just feel like something I should do or I'm supposed to do? I would not do it if it's a should or supposed to. That inevitably will lead to resentment to your children and feeling trapped by the decision you made. I feel like there are some parents who grow through that and grow past that, but a lot of them don't. Having kids is hard. Raising kids is hard. And it's at least a 2-decade commitment, you know? If you have more than one, it's at least a 2-decade commitment, because 18 years plus the next one. And so it's a big deal. And it really comes down to, does the thought of this fill me with a type of joy and fulfillment? For me, it did. And that's what carries me through the fact that parenting is hard as hell. And it's challenging, and it will force you to look at aspects of yourself that you'd rather not look at. It'll force you to grow in ways that you weren't even aware you needed to grow. And again, you got to work really hard at it. But it's also, for me personally, the greatest thing in my life is my kids and my relationship with them. And so you got to ask yourself, does it feel like that's what it would be for me? Or does my path to fulfillment and joy lie along a different route? I know people who never have kids and they have very happy lives. So you got to ask yourself that. How to encourage your partner to branch out when you know their fear of change is holding them back in work and could cause future conflicts, like deciding where to buy a home. I read a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, and one of the most life-altering concepts I got from that book is every fear we have, literally every fear, is actually just one. It's actually just one fear. And it's flavored by different things, but now you may hear that and think, no, they can't all be the same thing. No, they are. Any fear you have boils down to one core fear, which is, I can't handle it. Fear of spiders? I can't handle it. Do I have to kill it? Do I have to pick it up and release it outside? I don't know that I can handle that. Fear of divorce? Well, I don't know. I can't handle my marriage falling apart and being on my own and the judgment of other people. Fear of death, fear of parenthood, fear of change. Your partner isn't experiencing a fear of change. Your partner is experiencing a fear that they can't handle change. Because if they felt like they could handle change, they wouldn't be afraid of it. Just like I'm no longer afraid of spiders because I can actually pick them up and take them outside. Or if they're black widows or brown recluse, sorry, they're just gone. When you know that you can handle something, or if you don't know how to handle it yet, but you can learn and grow into handling it, that's what makes you fearless. So the real thing to address with your husband is his own sense of inadequacy, his own fear that he can't learn new things, that he can't learn how to handle these situations that come up, that he's only comfortable with the things that he's comfortable with and that he's handled before. The thing that has helped me, because I've had a very similar fear in my life, in fact, sometimes it's been crippling, is to recognize that everything that I'm good at now, at one point or another, I sucked at. And to eliminate the judgment from that and the fear of being judged. My advice is give him encouragement that you know that he can grow to handle anything, including change. I would highlight changes that he's made in the past that were terrifying, and maybe there were some bumps along the way, but look where we are now. We made the change and we're okay. And honestly, if you need some help with anxiety and fear, to work with a professional. To that end, folks, we've got a clinical team that can work with you on this or any of these things. We've got a membership site that's just full of online courses and podcasts and live Q&As, just rich with information there to help you. So I would encourage you to schedule a complimentary 15-minute consultation with a member of our team to see what's a fit for you. Our culture is very quick to identify red flags and label more people than seems reasonable as toxic and cut them out of our lives while others get into codependent or abusive relationships. Yes, I will bang on this drum all day. We say toxic about things that are unhealthy or that we don't like. And that's not what toxic is. Toxic is corrosive. Toxic is harmful in a pervasive or insidious way. Most human behaviors that are unhealthy, we should not qualify as toxic. It robs the word of its power. Is there a healthy space between these two extremes where love and patience can exist as we work alongside each other on our imperfections? Or are people really that unhealthy in our modern age that we need to protect ourselves to such an extreme? Yes, to both questions. There is a lot of unhealthy, unhelpful pseudo-psychology and pop psychology just floating around out there that does more harm than good because it convinces people that, oh, if we have a normal human conflict, I see it as toxic and irreparable, and I just need to shut myself down and shut myself off and close myself off. And you're a terrible person, by the way, I hate you, die. A lot of big emotional reactions. But on the flip side, we need to have boundaries and we need to be able to protect ourselves. I would say that this is one of the reasons for couples and family therapy. Conflict is inevitable. Unhealthy getting and protecting behaviors are part of the process for most people. We get angry, we get sad, we get stressed, we have immaturity issues that we need to work through, we have our own traumas that are showing up in our attachment styles. We have a whole host of things, and none of that makes us toxic, it just makes us human. So how do we give each other space and give each other grace? It's the 1-2 punch of I see you, I accept you, I love you. If I'm going to trust you, then this is what I need. And I'm willing to be patient as you're working through it, as long as I see that you're working through it, and I expect you and hope that you extend the same to me. And that's what that looks like. So what questions do you have for me based on the answers I've just given? What has it got the juices flowing in your brain? Or what answers would you give to some of the questions that I've been asked today? Now, for the next little bit, I want to invite you to check out this video, See Yourself to See Others, which is all about how we can show up better for others if we can show up for ourselves first and see ourselves clearly. That link is somewhere here on the screen. Until next time, folks, keep shining. We need your light.